Well, good morning. Good morning. It's good to see each and every one of you this morning. Thank you so much for being patient while we ran through just a couple of technical difficulties. We do pretty well here, but sometimes you get those technical gremlins, and we looks like we got it all sorted out. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm just
Um,
messing with my
I know you're
camera over
fine.
here that didn't want to show properly, and now you're seeing too much of my lap and not
No,
enough
you're
of my.
fine. I took you off. Anyway, you can just look at my ugly mug for a minute. Anyway, so thank you all so much for hanging out. Um, if you're watching the replay, say hi and let us know where you're watching from. It's always good to see where everyone's watching from. And if you're in the live chat, a lot of you have already said hello, which is really good. So thank you all for that. Anyway, it is what, the 8th of November. It's really hard to believe it's the second weekend of November already. And I brought along my good friend Andi, who lives out there in Arizona, and it's only 6 a.m. where she is. So this is really good. We really only do lives together when daylight savings is finished, because otherwise she has to be up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, which is not something I'm really going to ask anyone ever to do, because that's way too early for anyone, including me, and I like getting up early. Anyway, I'm going to let Andi introduce herself as soon as I've get the right button. There we go. All right, back again. Okay, so it's all over to you, Andi. Just let them know who you are, where you're from, what you do, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, Sean, you gave me a good introduction already. Hi, I'm Andi from True Blue Quilts, and Sean and I met a couple years ago through a mutual friend who suggested we interview him for our podcast. I co-host a podcast called Quilting on the Side with my friend Tori, and we had fun chatting with Sean about his quilting journey and our mutual love of mystery quilts. So that has been a great connection through Cotton Cuts as well. So I'm just glad to be here. Yeah, I'm a morning person out here in Arizona, so it's not too rough, but a little bit more coffee today would help things.
Very nice. Well, thank you so much. And you said it was a mutual friend. Who was that? Because I don't remember that part.
Chris O'Neill of Sew the
Ah,
Distance.
yes. I love Chris. She was on here, what, 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, I
Something like
think
that.
so.
Yeah, it was quite recent. Yeah, Chris is fantastic. She has a wonderful channel. If you haven't checked that out already, you need to go check her out. And she was one of the first people to reach out to me when I started this little thing of mine, to give me a couple of wonderful pointers and that sort of thing. There, she was very, very nice, and she's been very helpful and very supportive. I think very, very highly of Chris, and she's not even here to listen to it. So so
Yeah,
there you go.
she's a really sweet person. We were able to collaborate on a YouTube project. Oh gosh, way back during pandemic times. So
Oh wow.
seems like ancient history now. But so, what are you working on this morning, Sean?
Oh, okay. So, I don't know if my friend Jan is here today, because she has been encouraging me to work on this project, which is I've done a couple of trash trucks, and I've done one of these excavators. It's a project that I'm doing for my nephew, and it was supposed to be finished like 2 years ago, but we won't talk about that. She has been encouraging me to get back onto that project, and so last night I cut out fabric for two more excavators. This is the fabric for the first one, this nice yellow, and then this green will be the excavator number two. So I don't know if I'll get it completely finished today or during the live, but if not, you can come back tomorrow and see what progress I've made on that. And then what did you decide to bring along to work on
I
besides your
just
coffee?
Yeah, I decided to um, get try and finish up August for my temperature quilt.
Oh,
So
nice.
I cut a butt, and I was double duty last night in the sewing room because after our live, I am on my way to the Phoenix Modern Quilt Guild monthly meeting, and I'm going to demo my half rectangle triangles. So I
Oh,
needed
nice.
to cut out some sample pieces so that I could demo that process. And so we've got August and Rita, our mutual friend, Crystal Dragon. She has a long channel name, folks. I'm sorry, Rita, that I'm butchering that. But she laughs that, Arizona temperature quilts are going to just be 2 colors. And you can definitely see. I mean, I actually have 3 so far in August with my red for our highs above 100. And then lows, 80s were yellow and 90s were peach. So I've got a bunch more triangles cut out in those lovely warm colors for the month of August. And I will just have to keep referring back to my my chart, because Moda on their website, they have a lovely temperature quilt planner page.
Oh, nice.
So I can just record all the temperatures, because obviously I'm falling behind. Is it November? How is it November?
Oh, no. Yeah, it's interesting you talk about temperature quilts, because my sister and I did one for each other back in 2016. We decided we'd do one for each other. And I was kind of like you, like it's either cold or warm here as well. So what I ended up doing with mine is I did it by wind chill in the winter and heat index in the summer. So I could get a little bit more color in mine. And then I did it I'm a little extra, if you haven't already noticed, Hank. I did it in 2-degree increments. I found a Kona Cotton Solids jelly roll with 42 different colors, and that was a wonderful starting off point. So I started up at like 28 degrees Fahrenheit and went all the way up to 90, and then I think I added a brown for way too hot as well. Yeah. And that turned out really nice. And that quilt is now currently somewhere in Australia, and my sister sits on my recliner, and I use it all the time. So they're a beautiful project, wonderful project. And then there's also, I don't know if you're using it, but there's also historical weather data that you can pull up for your city. That way, when you fall behind like I did, and you apparently have too, you can go look it up there as well. So
yeah, the one thing I am learning, and I'll have to do a full recap of the project for my YouTube channel once I get there. But I did 10-degree increments and then plan to be scrappy within that chosen color. Like I said, I was red for 100 to 110. So I was going to use a variety of reds. Well, I get stuck because I'm using scraps, and then I don't have, I run out of one fabric sooner than the other fabric, and it isn't quite as scrappy as I had hoped. And I think I should have, to please my own idea of scrappiness, I should have done shorter increments and then stuck with a specific color, just like you said, for a 2 to 5 degree temperature difference. For each fabric would have been a little more to my own scrappy feel. But you know what? There's no rules, so who cares?
Oh yeah, you do you. Yeah, but yeah, it's hard. That's one of those things. And I mean, that might be a good tutorial video for one of us or both of us to do at some point in the future.
For instance, these are 2 of my yellows, and one is, obviously so much darker than the other one. I started with this nice soft buttery yellow and ran out, and the only thing nearby that I could grab that was big enough piece to cut up was this much darker one. So it'll all mix in, and just that it is what it is.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. And I will just, as we're settling into a little bit of sewing, I will quickly talk through my process for half rectangle triangles if no one's seen them. I take my finished size of my unit and I add about 1.5 inches. And then I cut on the diagonal so that I have my 2 triangles cut. And then you put them right sides together. And you have to pay attention to whether you want uphill triangles or downhill triangles. And you'll have to search back on my channel, because I do a tutorial that explains all about uphill and downhill and stuff. but you want to look for these 2 mountain peaks. So looking at my sewing space, you do not want your triangles exactly lined up when they sew. You want them
to overlap a little bit.
Have mountain peaks, or else you will not end up with a rectangle when you're done. So that's the important piece about sewing. And then once you get them all sewn together, it will look something like this. I press my seams open just because I don't want to have all that bulk at these narrow corners, but it does work if you press them to the side. Just, be aware that you're going to have really bulky, narrow angles there. And then you definitely want to mark your ruler, because this angle is not a angle that's typically on your standard rulers. So I developed and worked with a company to put my own special markings on my ruler. So down here in the corner is a little block that's the exact size I'm going to be using. So it makes my trimming step really nice and easy. But that's a whole nother story you can find on my YouTube channel for the trimming step. And then, you've got your nice little squared up pieces that are ready to go in your quilt.
Oh, nice. So a question I had for you since we got into this topic is, have you seen the half square triangle rulers? And if so, have you used them, and are they any good?
Okay, so if you want to switch back over to
my just give me one moment.
Not anything interesting going on the workspace at the moment. Variety of half rectangle triangle rulers. Probably the best one is Latifa Saphir, because she does the same process. You use one side of the ruler with one set of markings for the rectangle initial cut, and then you flip it over and she's got different markings for the triangles. And she has made several sizes that work with one ruler. So, there's multiple markings depending on the type of angle that you want, because that's the struggle with rectangles, is that every size of rectangle is going to have a different angle when you make that diagonal cut. And that makes it difficult to have a specialty ruler, because you need 27 of them if you're going to use a huge variety of sizes. And I saw in the chat, Joyce asked who I worked with to make my rulers. And that's part of the ruler story, because I initially got started with half rectangle triangles with a set of templates that were already cut down to the triangle size, not a rectangular ruler. It's a template for a triangle. And that company is Off the Wall Quilt, singular, Off the Wall. And they make, and those triangle templates are called Angle Play. And they come in 13, 15 different sizes of triangles. So you're actually using the template to cut out exact size triangles. So you don't have the trimming step, kind of like how we get our pre-cut pieces from Cotton Cuts, and you can just sew. Right. So once you use the Angle Play templates to cut your triangles, they go together and make beautiful rectangles. So, but they worked with me to make a square ruler with the markings I like. They back all of their templates and rulers with a substance called the Easy Grip, so your ruler doesn't slip around on the fabric. It's got this kind of tacky surface that's really nice. So
it makes a world of difference.
Yeah. I do not have a distributor. You cannot find my little bit different ruler anywhere but on the True Blue Quilts website. So if you're interested in 2x3 up to 6x9 triangles or rectangles, I'm the place to get those. So, but yeah, there are a couple, and I'm looking across the room at my design wall, and I bought the quick rectangle ruler. I don't know what, quick straight cut, maybe from So Kind of Wonderful. They do the curve rulers. They just came out with one for half rectangle triangles, and I bought their pattern and their ruler just because I'm always interested in what other people are doing with the unit that I like the most. So
Right.
yeah, so that's they have a different process. It's like they took a ruler and they, instead of putting a marking on it like I did, I don't know if, yeah, you can see that X in the middle there. Instead of that marking, they actually cut a groove in their ruler. So you line up the fabric and then cut in the groove in it. And then you sew the triangles together. So everybody is using the same basic process. Cut your triangles, match them up with these mountain peaks, and then you're ready to sew.
All right. Well, that's good information to have, because I don't do a lot of half square rectangles, but I do them occasionally with the artist projects that I do. And I was just curious, since I had you on here, whether it was easy to get a ruler or if it's just easy to follow John's instructions. And I don't know, I mean,
what process does John use?
He just tells you, like, he tells you to cut out a piece of fabric to whatever size it's supposed to be, and then he tells you where to cut it. And that seems to work pretty well.
Okay, so similar process. You're cutting on the diagonal and then sewing the
like you'll start on one corner, and then he'll tell you, okay, well, you need to cut, start like 1.25 inches in, or 3/4 of an inch, or whatever it is. Like, he just does all the math for you.
Okay, so are you starting with rectangle pieces and kind of offsetting them? Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the other process for half rectangle triangles. My brain doesn't work that way. I've read through those instructions, and offsetting the rectangles, it's kind of like 2 at a time half square triangles where you sew the line and then cut. And it doesn't make sense in my head. So I always cut my triangles first. But as we've said with everything quilting, do it the way you want to do it and get the result you want. So
oh, definitely. Yeah. And I mean, his instructions seem to work well for me. So I think for the foreseeable future, I'll probably stick with that, just because I don't have to go out and buy another ruler. But
of course.
We'll see. Yeah. If it was something I was doing more often, then I think that'd be definitely something to consider as well. All right. Let's see who is here. It looks like we've got a nice crowd here, and I can't believe it's already 22 after 8. I mean, time is just absolutely flying already, but that's how it is when you have a good chat with friends. So
exactly. That's why we all like to show up so early.
I know, and I love that. I love that everyone wants to kick off their sewing weekend with me. I'm very honored, and that sort of thing each and every week. It looks like Polly was here first, along with Tasha. I know Tasha and Andy and I were all chatting this morning before the live. Joyce is here with us as well. Good morning, Miss Laura Lee, and I hope I'm not butchering anybody's name. If I missed someone, I apologize in advance as well. Good afternoon, Christine. It's good to see you as well. Sherry is here as well, and she joined the membership, which is an optional thing. If you want to join, it's just a way to support the channel, but it is not required. And I love you all just the same, whether you do or not. It's just there if you want it. Dawn Stewart is here with us as well. Good morning, Miss Kathy. She says it's Kathy from Iowa, along with my little. She was on with me a few weeks ago. Candace is here. Good morning, Miss Mary. I know I'm going to miss people, and I'm going to apologize in advance. Good morning, Miss Lori. Kathy Hutchins is here. Good morning, Miss Nancy. It's good to see you. Cora, Kathy, and Misty. Good morning, Sean. And a few people have said that they loved our cotton cuts reveals yesterday, and thank you all so much for that. I did see those comments. I just didn't get a chance to reply to that yet. And that brings up something else. If you ever ask a question and we don't answer you, we are not ignoring you. We usually see it, but if you don't hear an answer, please tag me. Ask the question a second time and just tag me at the guy who sews, because it'll come up in bright orange and they'll be like, hey, Sean, you need to answer this.
Yeah, the tag is going pretty fast sometimes.
It does, and it's a lot to keep up with. So yeah, it's not that we're ignoring you. I just, please ask again. It's okay. She's heading out the doorway to a favorite local quilt shop we're listening while she drives. Okay, awesome. Good. I think we said hello to Kathy already. Jeannie E is here with us as well. Jacqueline and Stitches says happy Saturday to all of us. Phyllis Gator says good morning from Phyllis and sunny and warm Jacksonville, Florida. That sounds good. It's supposed to be warmer here too, I think, today. And then we talked about Chris, Laura Lee. Let's see. Russ is here this morning. Thankfully for him, it's maintenance, not repair. I missed that part earlier. Let's see. Michelle the Quilter says good morning as well. And let's see, scrolling down. Layla, good morning to you. Good morning, Miss Janice. And Melanie Taylor. And I think I caught everybody. Barbara King. Good morning, Miss Alex. If you have a channel, please put your channel link in if you want folks to go over and check you out and subscribe and like good stuff there. And yeah, please support my friends. If you see a channel that sounds interesting to you, go check it out. Watch some videos. If you like what you see, hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit that notification bells. And this is a good opportunity to say too, as well, if you haven't seen your favorites in a while, go check out your notifications. It might be a good idea to turn your notifications off and then back on again to re-kick it. Because sometimes YouTube does silly things and just like unnotifies everybody. So there you go. Good morning, Miss Danelle. It's good to see you as well. She has a wonderful channel. She is also going to be live at 10 this morning, I believe. And I think she has a big guest coming up very soon. Who was it? I think, is it tomorrow she has Becca on with her? I don't remember. She's always a lot of fun. Okay, so let's see. What am I got going on? Now I've got nothing to say. That's terrible.
Well, we've continued to have some folks saying how much they liked the Cotton Cuts stuff. So how did you get involved with Cotton Cuts? Tell us that story.
Okay, that's a good question. Thank you. See, this is why we need to have you more often because, I'm not wording well today. I actually was watching my friend Fallon, who I don't know that she's here today, but she and Chris, no, I don't think Chris was doing it. But Fallon was doing the Puzzle Mystery Quilt, and I think she was about halfway through. The sign-ups had already ended. This was for, I think, Olympia. Don't quote me on that one. I could be wrong. But she saw it, she was showing those off, and I was like, oh, that sounds fun. And so when the next one, the sign-ups came up, I went ahead and signed up, which was so sweet, the one with all the donuts. Like, I love donuts. Where's my donut fabric? I had that out yesterday. Now it's disappeared. Anyway, so I signed up for that. I did that. I did some time lapses for that for the channel because I figured it'd be good content. And then I skipped the next one, which was Piazza. And then right as they were getting ready to start the following one, Valley Green, Cotton Cuts reached out to me and said, hey, we'd love to have you as an ambassador. And I was just running around dancing because I was like, that's really cool. Like someone actually wants to work with me. So I've been doing it ever since, basically. So what about yourself? You've been doing it for a little while too, right?
Yeah, just a little while. I was telling Kim on the live stream yesterday that I had been on their newsletter for years and years, and I always loved, thinking about the colorways and that, but I never jumped in. And for a while at my local quilt shop's open sew day, someone was working on it, and they're like, oh yeah, I have my Cotton Cuts project. And I when I really a down and thought about how they send out pre-cut fabric, I was like, well, as a person who's still working full-time and wants to enjoy my sewing time, cutting out that cutting step is so fabulous. So I could just grab the packets and sit down and sew. And I actually did the Floral States of America project first.
Okay.
That was my first experience with a monthly kit from Cotton Cuts, and so enjoyed that. And then, as I said, we interviewed Chris for the podcast, and she told us about you, so we reached out there. And Chris did not like the mystery aspect. And I have always been adventurous and just like, whatever, it's sewing time. If I don't love the design, it's still a finished quilt at the end. I can give it away to someone who will love it. And yeah, so that didn't scare me off at all. And so here we are. It's been really, really fun.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And I've heard of some other people say too that the mystery aspect's not for them, and that's perfectly okay, because no project is ever for everybody. So
Right.
if this sounds like something that you would have fun with, I say jump on it and give it a go. If it doesn't sound like it's for you, then you can live vicariously through us and find another project that works for you. I mean, there's um, so many wonderful options out there for you. Laura Lee says cotton cuts would be great to bring to a quilt retreat. Yes, it is. I think Russ actually did that last year or the year before. He fell behind on his, and I think he actually took like all his clues to a quilt retreat and actually put the whole quilt top together. If I remember correctly, he sent me a picture of it once he was done. So
Mhm.
yes, it is a wonderful project to do as a quilt retreat. They actually now do their own quilt retreats as well, and I think they do all their own pre-cuts and that sort of thing
Yeah,
there as well.
that sounds like so. There's another question for our chat friends. When you go to a retreat, are you interested in having a group project or a class, or do you like to use your retreats as catch up time on your own projects? Because, with my half rectangle stuff, I've thought about offering a retreat around one of my patterns and, teach people half rectangle triangles, walk them through a whole quilt project. But it just seems like most of the people that I go on retreats with want to do their own thing. So um, we'll see. Jacqueline
Um,
saying that it has renewed her love of quilting. So that's good to hear.
yeah, I mean, I've only been on one retreat, and that was like a day sewing thing together that I was invited to. And but if I was to go to one, I think I would much prefer to do my own thing, just because I don't know. For me, I'm very picky on what projects I do, and I'm always behind in everything I do. So, like, yeah, a retreat for me I would much prefer to do something where I can just bring something and catch up. So,
Right.
yeah, and then Fallon's here. She must have heard us talking about it
Yay.
4 minutes ago. So,
Yeah.
it was all good, I promise.
Yeah, Joyce, it's kind of like summer camp for adults. She says she's never been on a retreat. I have a lot of fun. It's just that I have to, it's as with anything, it's always a trade off. Do I want to use my vacation days for, and my husband was pointing out that I was being kind of selfish and all of my vacation time was spent quilting and not doing family stuff. So I was glad that he spoke up and pointed that out. And I have tried to have much more of a balance there.
Yeah, it is hard doing both. I think if I was ever to do a retreat, I think I'd be more inclined to do a virtual one, just because I don't want to drag myself and my sewing machine and all the 10,000 pieces of fabric that I've already cut for it and everything else. So one of these
Yeah.
days, I will do a virtual retreat for everybody. Just don't hold your breath waiting, because every time I think I'm going to be able to do it, something comes up. But one of
Well,
these days, it will happen. I have ideas in my head. That's going to be really cool. But just stay tuned for that. But don't count on it being anytime soon. Maybe next summer. We'll have to see.
well, in the meantime, we can look forward to the New Year's Eve, New Year's Day uh, online sewing. I know Katie at the Greenland Quilter is doing a all night Zoom, and
Hmm.
was it Amanda from Stitching Life Together that was talking about maybe a New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, something? Someone in one of our groups was talking about that. So keep your eyes and ears open, folks, and we will have some holiday sewing adventures.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be doing. I haven't talked about it a whole lot, but I figure now would be a good time. I every year I do like a quilt trunk show, and I think Andy, you were part of that last year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that was so
I
fun.
Yeah, I've got I've got people lined up for that already. I'm trying to do people that have not been on it in at least a couple of years for the most part. But this time around, I'm planning on releasing that on New Year's Day, because last year I did it on New Year's Eve, and every person and their brother was live, and so I don't want to compete with that. I figure let Katie and Amanda and everybody else have fun on New Year's Eve. I'll just sit there and hang out and chat and have a good time and everything else. And then New Year's Day, probably in the afternoon. We might wait till the parade's over out there in Pasadena, the floral one, whatever it's called, the Rose Parade, I think it's called.
Yep.
Yeah, once that's over, we might go ahead. So stay tuned for the times and everything else on that one. But that's kind of what we have going on here. All right, Tasha's on her way to dance class with a kid. Janice says she's never been on a retreat. One day she hopes to be able to go on one. Tracy Milton says good morning. Jacqueline says, I agree. I still work full time and take a lot of time off for sewing and retreats. It's a hard balance for sure. Mary says, my friends, we rent our house every year for a retreat. We do our own projects, but some of us would like to do a make and take small projects for the ladies to make. Okay. So there you go. Jacqueline said she just jumped in. Cotton cuts are under the sea and island hopping. I'm having a blast and it's renewed my love for sewing. I think you mentioned that already. Okay, yes. So
yeah, you did you do the Hawaii 5-0 or the Mystery 5-0?
No, I did not. I thought about it, but I had so much going on at the same time. I was like, I really do not need another project. So I decided to live vicariously through everybody else. So yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly, no.
Same here. I've got plenty going on, but the friends that have participated are loving it. So
yeah, it looks like a fun project, but
and the great thing with that is that it's not exclusive to cotton cuts. Like there's a lady in my local guild who owns a fabric store, and so she is putting her own kits together associated with the clues that come from cotton cuts. So it's a great partnership for the whole industry. I love seeing that collaboration.
Oh, definitely. No, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah, one of these days when I don't have nearly as much going on, I'll jump in and give it a try. But yeah, just not at this present time. So there you go. Susan is here with us. Good morning to you. I know it's early out there for you. Jen, good morning to you as well. It's good to see you. All right, what was I doing? I was going to say something, and now I can't remember what it was. Oh, that's rotten. That's what it was. We were talking last week about quilt shows and potentially teaching and that sort of thing there. And someone, I think it was Teresa, mentioned maybe I should teach a t-shirt quilt class. And I've given that a lot of thought over this week. And although it would be a wonderful idea, I don't think it's going to be practical because apparently at most of these quilt shows, having ironing stations and steam press, that sort of thing there inside the classroom isn't possible due to electrical restraints. So trying to get, I think there'd be a lot of backup trying to get stuff ironed because you have to iron your fusible backing and that sort of thing on there as well. So
unless you were able to send out a homework supply list homework assignment and they have to come with their things already
redone. Yeah, and that's a potential solution too. But yeah, I mean, I got a little excited. I was like, yeah, I could really do this. I think it'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, I think that would be the only way that you really could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you can't take irons, and it's plus trying to do it with the irons are kind of a pain in the butt anyway to take so long. Like you really do need a steam press to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe do it as a pre-class requirement where you have it all done before you come along.
Yeah, the pre-fused stuff.
Yeah,
that and it just depends on the venue. That there's a lot of stuff that goes into, because every quilt class is going to have that same ironing requirement.
Yeah.
And as you were talking, I was thinking of my little pressing stick that I was so excited to buy, and now I've put it away somewhere and I don't have it next to my sewing machine to use, because same thing. I have my little Aliso set up finally, but I hate stopping to press when I'm sewing. So
I
there's
just
all sorts of little tricks.
I had the same Aliso as you, I think, right here.
Yep.
And I just have a small wool pressing mat. Although the Aliso pressing mats that they have, that I think they're like 12 by 12 and they're interlockable, those things are fantastic. They sent me a couple of those to use, and I've been using those on occasion, and they're really good for like when I do binding and stuff. But what I do is I have a small wool pressing mat that I bought from a yarn festival last year, and I just have it set up on a little wooden TV tray table, and it just sits next to me on my sewing space. So that way, when I want to iron something, I can just reach over, iron it, and keep going. So that works for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, there you go. Ask your quilt shop if you could do a t-shirt quilt class to test the water. Oh, absolutely. That's a great idea. I figured I'd do like a Zoom or something like that with my viewers here first to see. But yeah, I think the logistics of the ironing would be the stumbling block on that. I've also thought too, because I was sitting there thinking, okay, well, if I can't do a t-shirt class video, what else? Not t-shirt quilt class. What else could I do? And
paper piecing is always a popular.
That's class. What came up. I was like introduction to paper piecing, because I could easily grab the ones that Katie and I've been working on, the Woven Star and the Courthouse Steps, which is basically that thing that everybody does, log cabin. And I figured like, I figured doing that as a class might be fun too. But this is really just an idea in my head. I don't know if it's actually ever going to happen or when. Well, if we do say when, it's going to be at least 2027. I'm not doing it next year. But yeah, you never know. So there you go. Laura Lee says she could do lectures at the shows. I've attended a few of them, enjoyed seeing my YouTube mentors in person. That's an idea too. I don't know what I would talk about. I would need some ideas.
You just do a trunk show. It's like talk somehow about a theme, and then just show everything you've made, as long as it slightly relates to your theme. Yeah, Lori, I've thought the same thing. I need to package my lectures, because I do have several topics that I have done for guilds. So if anybody out there is part of a guild that does Zoom presenters, reach out, because I can supply the program for one of your meetings. And so I just, same thing as someone was saying when you were saying 2027, I've got a retirement, quote retirement. I'm still years away from, the full Medicare type retirement, but I will have enough points from my state pension that I can start thinking about some other options. So we might see a change. I would love to get on that traveling teacher circuit, but not sure if that is actually going to pan out or not.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. So the ideas are floating around. If I was to do a show, I think I'd definitely do the one that's close here to me, so that way it's only 20 minutes up the street. But yeah, I'm kind of leaning now towards maybe doing like an introduction to FPP, because that's something I hear a lot on the channel. Like, I wish I knew how to do that and that sort of thing there. And it really isn't that hard, especially if you do a project like the Woven Stars and that, because it really is very, very similar to traditional piecing. You're just doing it on paper. So I don't know. That might be
that extra layer when you.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. You just never know. All right, what did I do here? Oh, it's this way.
Okay, so we've got new action over here in my workspace view, because I finished all of the triangle pairs. I think I paid close enough attention to my tracking sheet of the different temperature combinations. And so now we will be at the pressing and trimming stage for my half rectangle triangles.
Nice.
And people always ask how I can get so much done, because it is multitasking skill to be able to talk and sew at the same time. But I've been doing the YouTube live stream thing for a while. So
yeah, it definitely comes easier with practice.
And Tori is saying that love the class ideas. It would be so cool to see your projects all together. And she's dropping a little tidbit there. There's lecture frameworks in the book she wrote. Tori wrote a book called Workshops Unleashed. And if anybody out there wants to start offering guild lectures, grab a copy of her book. She's got a wonderful step-by-step process for you to get ready to be a quilt teacher or lecturer.
Yeah, and that's one resource I do plan on getting very soon, just to read, because I think that'll be very helpful as well. So,
and Phyllis loves the idea of FPP class, so get that together.
Yep. Now that's going to come. I think that's going to come fairly soon, and you'll all be my guinea pigs on that one. So you'll get to see that at some point. I don't know in what format yet, but we'll soon figure that out.
Yep. Well, those woven stars are so fun, and with the foundation papers from Fat Quarter Shop, that's a great resource.
Yeah, they are. They're a lot of fun, and it's not super expensive. I think the packs were like $10 and some change for a pack of 48.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not super expensive, and I've had a lot of fun doing those. And the woven stars, for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, it's actually there's 9 of them hanging up on this quilt up here. So
yeah, your ribbon-winning quilt. That's amazing.
My ribbon-winning quilt. So thank you, Katie, from Greenland Quilter, for the idea. Indirectly, you put the project together, and then I also made a cushion cover with that and the courthouse steps together, and that also got a second place ribbon. So
yeah, very nice.
Very, very excited about that. Amanda is here with us this morning. She says, "Good morning, friends, listening while driving." And good morning to you.
Did you read Susan's comment? She was at her local quilt shop last evening to layer and baste a holiday quilt, it sounds like, sleigh bells, and she's hand quilting. That is something that I have not ventured into. I did a lot of cross stitch as a teen, so I'm obviously adept with hand work type projects, but I just have never tried. Well, okay, so here's the funny story. I remember telling this story to Tori on her original YouTube channel years ago, but my first foray into quilting, I'm about mid-20s. My friend was having a baby, so I'm like, oh, I'll make a quilt. Hadn't really ever touched a sewing machine. So I managed to make some nice pinwheels. And then I had heard about quilting, and something about 10 or 12 stitches per inch was, what everybody was striving for. So I got a big embroidery hoop and I layered my quilt top and the batting. I did not know about backing, and I hand quilted through those 2 layers to outline the triangles of the pinwheels. I was staying a 1/4 inch away from the seam, and I would grab my ruler and make sure I was doing those tiny 10 to 12 stitches per inch. And then my mom came to visit and she was like, "Oh, honey, you need a backing here." And so then I had to spend another weekend tying the corners of each block so that the thing would actually stay together with the backing. Had blisters on my hands. Oh my goodness, what a mess.
But you didn't make that mistake the second time.
I didn't touch fabric or sewing machine for another 10, 15 years. So there's that.
I see Mona's in the house with us. Good morning to you. She'll be on with us next weekend.
Yeah, it was definitely a learning experience. Susan says, oops. Yeah, it was. Makes a funny story. And I wish, unfortunately, the way the world works, that was your friends change. I lost touch with that family. I would have loved to know if they actually used the quilt.
Yeah, that's always a question that you ask yourself is when you give a quilt away, is it going to be used? I always encourage folks to use them. Like, please don't just stick them in a cupboard. Please use them. Let the dog sit on it. Whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. If it breaks, I'll make you another one. All right, let's see. Zaza's all doing EPP on the site, the new rage. Yes, I know a lot of people are really getting into EPP or English paper piecing with the little hexies. I know Becca's she's really enjoyed that. I have not jumped on that bandwagon yet because I'm afraid if I do, I'll probably get addicted like everybody else.
So, yeah, I have 2 hexie projects. And I worked a little bit on one of them, the rainbow one, over the summer when we went on a camping trip. So if you search back for my stitching adventure in the woods, you'll see an update on that EPP project. The other one I haven't touched in over a year because I cut out, it was while I was an Island Boutique ambassador and they had an hexie challenge 1 month. And so I cut all my hexies out and I was sewing them together, but it was right after my back surgery, and working on hexagons on pain meds is another big oops project. So sure. I had to rip that one apart and cut all the hexies down and start over, and it's still a mess. So one of these days.
Are you not doing the Island Boutiques anymore?
No, when I went back to, that was kind of my pandemic era gig. Their ambassador program, it's wonderful to get all the supplies given to you by a fabric company and just get to indulge your creative outlet that way. But when I went back to work, I was working part-time during the pandemic. And then when I went back to a full-time position, having to come up with at least a lap size quilt top every single month was pretty intense. And so,
oh, okay. Yeah, I can imagine.
And Susan is describing, let's see, I go back into the comments a little bit. Donnell loves EPP. Yes, I'm excited to see your project with Becca. Jacqueline just started FPP and loving it, but not interested in EPP. And we've said all along, there's so many different aspects to quilting. Just choose the ones that you enjoy and, let other people do their thing. It's great. Susan says the first quilt she made was a baby quilt for her youngest. The hand quilting wasn't great, but her daughter still has it. Oh, that's wonderful. That's awesome. Dawn's also on the FPP loving it train. Deb, the pug mom, showed up. Hello, hello.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy FPP too. I'm still a traditional piecer at heart, but there are several. I'm working on a few different FPP projects at the moment. The courthouse steps and woven stars is probably the main one, but I'm also working on Toasty, which is this monstrosity.
Oh, it's so gorgeous.
Yeah, and I finally finished one of the blocks I've been working on for like 6 weeks now, so you'll get to see that tomorrow.
I love how you say, Sean, that you like the smaller bits better.
That really surprised me. I really do. I thought I'd like the bigger pieces because I actually could get more stuff done together, but I don't know. I kind of struggle with that more, and I just don't enjoy it as much as doing all the little pieces.
So do you think it's just the wonderful sense of accomplishment that you got all those small pieces in the right place and it just comes together so beautifully?
I guess I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out why.
Yep, it's time for
So
some psychoanalysis there.
yeah, it'll come to me at some point. And when it does, I'll definitely let you all know. But yeah, that was really one thing that surprised me a lot about that project, because I'm glad I started off with the bigger pieces, because that pattern terrified me. And I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it. So, starting off with the bigger pieces was great. But it gave me the confidence to, maybe try some of the smaller pieces. But now that I've enjoyed the small pieces, that's kind of what I'm gravitating towards. And it's probably a good thing, because I'm running out of bigger pieces to put together. So if I didn't like the smaller pieces, I think it'd be, put to the side and not get touched at all.
Yeah, it's that puzzle aspect that you're putting things together from the back and they're cut in such interesting ways that you don't, you have to keep going so that you can see how it turns out.
Right. Yeah. Because right now it just looks like a bunch of different little shapes. It's not really.
Yep. Yep. So you can stand back and really enjoy it. That's so cool. I
Yeah.
want to do the tree frog pattern from Legit Kits. So
Mhm.
I'm saving my pennies to start that one next year at some point. I've got, like 16 projects in the queue. So
Yeah.
on my bucket list.
Definitely get the kit. The
Mhm.
kit is definitely the way to go.
The one thing
Yeah.
I want to do is swap out I think if I'm remembering that pattern correctly, the tree branch is almost, it looked like an orange or a red tone, and I
Right.
wanted to do that more in brown. So I'd probably substitute just a few of those fabrics, but yeah, for most of it, because I shared on my shop haul video, I also want to do the Violet Craft big giraffe. She does a lot of animal FPP,
Yes.
and I just bought the pattern. And so collecting all the fabric and stuff, it's easier to grab a project that you already have the fabric ready for. So definitely getting the kit would be a way to ensure the project at least gets started.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's a lot easier. I mean, I'm not sad that I didn't get the kit, but if I had my time over, I definitely would.
Okay,
So
I am moving my camera just a little bit because I am at the trimming stage for
okay.
all of my half rectangle triangles. And so I need to stand up and
Yeah.
get a good angle there. So people can see, I'm just, as I said, I have uh, it's not going to come through, but there's markings on this ruler. And so I can easily line up the marking on the ruler with the seam line on my piecing, and it just makes the process so quick and easy. And you can do this with regular rulers. You can grab some painter's tape or something to put a line on your ruler where the rectangle would be, since most quilting rulers are set up as squares and not rectangles. But I got tired of thinking about where that line was all the time. So that's why I had my friends at Off the Wall Quilt make this ruler for me.
Yeah, and that looks, they got some fun stuff. I looked at their website after you talked about it earlier in the podcast, not the podcast, the live, and put a link in there to them as well. So let me see if I can get back to that. I'll throw it back in the chat just in case anyone's interested. Because I always like looking at new rulers and stuff. Like I think most of my favorite rulers are Fallon's rulers from Soviet Quilts.
And
I
she
love
has
those.
one for half rectangle triangles too, doesn't she?
I think so. That might be one that if she does, it's one of the few that I don't have.
Yeah, I think I saw that one time. But again, because angles of rectangles are specific to the overall size of the rectangle, and here's my geometry teacher personality coming out, getting geeky with all the math. you have to have a different size ruler for whichever type finished rectangle size you are using. And so just really think about it before you purchase. I don't want to, get people excited about half rectangle triangles and then have them frustrated because they wanted to make a quilt with a bunch of different size blocks, and it's going to cost an arm and a leg to get all the ruler sizes you need.
Right.
But you can do it with regular rulers, and I've got a video on that. I need to get all my half rectangle stuff in a playlist on my YouTube channel so it's easier for people to find.
Yeah, that's good information to have, because like I've seen them on, I've seen them online, and I've seen them in every, that sort of thing. I just didn't know how they worked out. So do you have anything fun coming up on your channel in the near future?
I do. I am part of a 12 Days of Christmas Quiltmas collaboration that's kicking off December 1st. So
yeah, and you're what, day 8 for that, right?
I am actually day 10.
Okay.
But yeah, it's one of those things that it's still a few weeks away, so I don't have all the details memorized yet, but just keep an eye out. Are you part of that group? I know Donnell is.
Yeah, Donnell is. And so is Tasha. I think Tasha's day 3 and I'm day 4, and then I think Donnell's right around you as well. So
yeah, I need to get the list up, subscribe to everybody's channel so you can get the notifications, and we will just have a lot of fun. And there are giveaways involved in that.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that, but I can't, as much as I want to show everybody what I'm working on, I'm not allowed to.
I know, that's the hard part. Well, that's part of the Christmas season, is the anticipation and all the surprises. So
yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I've been playing around with it a lot. I've changed my design about 7 times already, but now I've actually got, welcome to my world. I'm always that way. But it's going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, definitely keep an eye out. I know, Tasha's part of it. You are, Donna from Handmade by Ying, Tom the Colorblind. You'll see stuff coming out. I'm going to do a short on it very soon, kind of give you more details on what's going on. And, but I'm really looking forward to the 4th of December so I can show you all what I come up with, and then you all get a chance to win it as well. It's going to be a nice quilt for you guys to snuggle under, and that's all I'm going to tell you. Yeah. Because otherwise I'll get in trouble.
We wouldn't want Sean to be in trouble, so let's.
No, I get in enough trouble as it is without that.
Back to the cotton cuts topic, because we just had the reveal for Flyway. So that means that there will be a new sign up coming soon. December, Kim said.
Yeah, like the 6th.
And she told us the theme is Field of Dreamers. So imagination and new possibilities. I think that's where my mind goes with that theme. And I think she said that the ambassadors were going to help name all the colorways. So
she did.
Unless I'm using my imagination and dreaming that.
Well, you may have heard that correctly, because I did my presentation and then I had to go back to work because I took, I used my lunch hour to jump on the calls. So if she said something after I presented, then it's very possible that she told you that and I just didn't hear it. So, but that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing what the different colorways are and that sort of thing there. I have not heard yet if I will be an ambassador for that or not. It's all up to what Cotton Cuts wants. They may want me to come back. They may decide to go in a different direction. And if they do, that's perfectly fine. Like, I'll do it as long as they want me to.
Yeah, exactly. It's always, I like having the mix of experienced people that have done many of the PMQs and then letting new people come
Oh,
in
for
and
sure.
have that
Yeah.
experience as well. So
Yeah.
I'm catching up on the chat again. Tori has been busy with her kids, but she heard us talking about legit kits.
Yes.
And
I was
so
going to
is
talk about that.
and yes, Tori, a bunch of people have done legit kits. But Tori has watched a quilter on TikTok that finishes them so fast. She was wondering how easy they are to make. I'll let you
Okay,
talk
so
about
let me field this. Okay, so yes, there are folks out there that can do them in a couple of days. The one that I'm very much aware of is Donna by Handmade by Ying. She is amazing with these things. She knocks them out. I don't think she does TikTok, so it's probably someone else that you're seeing there. But yeah, she can knock out these things in a couple of days or a week. But me, I'm a lot slower. I think they are very, even if you're brand new to FPP, they are a good way to get into it. The patterns are very well written. I don't think I'll get into any trouble by showing you a block. Actually, hang on a second. Let me just.
Yeah,
So
for new people, I always describe FPP as color by numbers because you
it is
are following the printed pattern, putting fabric in a specific position, and it's all laid out for you. So,
yeah, I would definitely highly recommend that you do the kit just because it's a lot easier. So this is kind of how each page looks. There, it's a regular printer paper page size, and then you just kind of put it all together. It's all numbered. That's kind of how it looks on the other side. So that's one of the larger sections that we were talking about earlier. And then, yeah, it's very well done. I even as someone new to FPP, I think you could easily do these without too much hassle. Let me grab one of the sections that I haven't done yet, which is not difficult. This is a lot of them that I haven't done. Wasn't expecting to talk about legit kits today, but that's okay.
I have done Judy Niemeyer paper piece patterns that are
those things terrify me. I got one of those, and I don't know if I'll ever do it.
Now, I don't think they're any scarier than legit kits in terms of the number of pages and small pieces. What scares you about them?
It looks like it's written in stereo instructions.
And I will acknowledge that that is a valid critique. Judy Niemeyer is very wordy, and she describes the basic process on every page. So there's a lot of repetition in her instructions that as an experienced FPPer, you can probably skip over. But yes, there is a little bit of a learning curve to interpret her instructions. She also has you cut in 2 steps. You cut the oversized piece from a template, and then that oversized piece fits down onto the actual foundation. So,
well,
it's a process.
Yeah, if I ever decide to do that pattern, which I'm kind of lost interest in it now, but maybe in 2 years' time it'll be different. If I ever decide to do that, you might be the resource that I come to with a million questions. So we'll see what happens. Okay, what was I doing?
I do not remember because I
don't remember.
Focused here on trimming. When you've got a blade in your hand, you kind of want to be smart about that. So I'm a little behind on the chat, but I've only got a few more rectangles to trim, and then I will catch up on the chat. Yes. I am always so thrilled with your engaged audience, Sean. That's wonderful that people just have this time in their routine every Saturday.
Oh, definitely. I'm honored. I really am. Like I say it a lot, but it really does mean a lot to me because there's so many other places you guys could be. There's so many other wonderful channels you could be able to watch. Maybe not this time in the morning if you wanted to watch someone live, but there's so many others out there. And I just am so grateful and so honored that you all decide to come in and hang out with me each and every week. So thank you one and all for that. It really does mean the world to me.
And I want to say a shout out to the replay folks, because I know I, being on the West Coast, don't always get up and watch live. But for those of you that turn it on and, you know, have it on the TV in the background, that is so appreciated.
Oh, it is. And sometimes people apologize for watching a replay. No, please do not apologize. Replay gets me the same number. It's still a view. I still get added revenue, just like you do for this. That's the thing. The only thing that you don't get to do is you don't get to be part of the live chat. Other than that, you are exactly the same as anybody else. So if you want to sleep in on a Saturday morning and watch the replay Saturday night, Sunday mornings, 3 months from now, that is cool. I love you just as much. That's the only difference, is that you can't be part of the live chat. That I can't replicate. But you're always more than welcome and encouraged to leave us a comment. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you didn't like, if you want. And just say where you're watching from, what you're working on, that sort of thing there. I love hearing from my viewers. It's really nice to be able to interact with the audience. It's one of my favorite parts about doing this.
Okay, project update. Now that I've got my rectangles trimmed, I am adding them on to my row for August. So that's exciting to get to a new step in the process.
I know, it's nice. Yeah, that was one of the fun things about, like, for anyone that popped in earlier, popped in later, Andy is working on a temperature quilt, and I did one. Me and my sister did one back in 2016. And the thing that I've loved about ours is that mine had all the blues and the greens and that sort of, in the purples and sort of thing in the beginning and the latter part of the year, and all the reds, oranges, yellows, and that sort of thing in the middle, because winter times at the beginning and the end of the year, summer times in the middle. The one that my sister made for me is the exact opposite. All her reds and those sort of colors are at the top and the bottom, and then all the blues and greens are smack bang in the middle, because being in Australia, June, July, August is our colder months.
Mm-hmm.
So it was fun seeing the same design, just totally backwards.
Yep. So this is where I have to do a little more thinking about the process, because I like to chain piece, but I have to keep, each day's color in order. So I'm spending a lot of time looking at my spreadsheet and going back and forth with these colors and making sure I put the item on the correct side of the block, because I'm reading from left to right across the month, and so it does matter which side of the block things get sewn together, because you can't rotate them around.
Can you mark it somehow, maybe with like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or a different color? Because I use 2 different methods to kind of overcome that. Like I use these little.
Oh yeah, your little.
My number things, and then if I'm being lazy and I don't want to do all that, I bought these, the off-brand Wonder Clip things from Amazon. They're like $8 for 100 of them. And they come in 8 different colors, so I sometimes do it in rainbow order. Like row 1 is red, row 2 is pink, row 3 is orange, and so forth. And that works out. Yeah, that's worked beautifully, especially for the cotton cuts clues. When I'm doing those live, I'll put each step with a different color. And I'll start with red and end in purple, and that's worked beautifully. Susan is asking, what am I working on? I am working on a excavator block, which is part of a pattern that I'm doing for a quilt for my nephew, who is going to be 5 next month. Good gravy, Miss Molly. He's old. It's kind of been on timeout for way too long, and I've been encouraged to put do some work on this, and which I have been. So let me just put the pattern up. It's a paid pattern over by a lady from Germany. She sells these individual blocks, which I think is fantastic. Each block, I believe, is about $3.50 US, so it's not terribly expensive, and you only have to buy the blocks that you want, which is the thing that I really like about this. So this is one that I've already made. And then I'm doing one in yellow and one in green. And then I'm also going to get a couple more blocks soon. I was talking to my sister last night. Apparently he really likes fire engines, and then I might do either a dump truck or a cement truck. She has, no joke, this lady has about 150 or 200 patterns available all up. There's all sorts of different things. There's a Christmas theme one. There's, yeah, she has so much stuff here. Looks like $3.62 for each pattern, and they're very, very well written. They're very easy to follow, which is what I love about this. And that price might change slightly as the euro goes up and down. So if you see 362 is what I'm telling you now, if you come back next week, it might be 359 or 365, but it won't go by, maybe a couple of pennies, but that should be about it. So there you go. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. I was kind of hoping I'd get these done today during the live, but I'm not even halfway done. So yeah, you'll have to come back tomorrow and see my completed project. But there you go. What is everybody else working on this weekend? Sorry, you were going to say something there, Andy?
Yeah, I had to finish my seam before I could ask the question that popped in my head. How much of the rest of your weekend will be sewing? Are you off on any adventures with the kids, or?
It varies from week to week. A lot of times we do our live, I turn the thing off, I feed the dogs, and out the door we go. We have an event this morning or early this afternoon that we're going to go to at Amanda's school. But that's pretty much it. I think this weekend's going to be a pretty chill weekend, so that's going to give me a chance to get some progress made on this. I'm kind of hoping to get one more project done or started at least before tomorrow's podcast, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, nice. It was wonderful last weekend. I was able to spend the whole weekend at the Long Arm, so that was
nice.
That was wonderful. Mainly because I had that cotton cuts deadline, so I was happy to get my quilt quilted and bound before the reveal. And this weekend is more lecture and teaching. I mentioned earlier that I'm going to my guild meeting and talking about half rectangle triangles, and then tomorrow I have a long arm class at my local shop. So I do have a quilty weekend planned.
That's what I got done.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, so that's the top half of the truck. This will kind of give you a reference.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, yeah. So I haven't done a whole lot, but it'll come together pretty quickly.
Yeah, fun.
I think when you come back tomorrow, you'll see these both done. So, all right.
Has a backpack project that she's working on. End of an era. Her son starts preschool on Monday. Aw, tugging at the heartstrings. But great, fun pictures, especially with a handmade backpack. Susan is doing some churn dash blocks for a church raffle quilt. That's wonderful. And Lori is cutting up her K-facet scraps to make a jelly twist. That sounds fun.
Yeah, that's fun. I use calf or how you pronounce it. I'm gonna butcher it. I'll explain my accent.
You do. You get it wrong every time. It's a cave, like safe.
I'm just gonna blame my accent. We'll just use
there
that.
You go.
Yeah. Anyway, that was the first time I used. It's a gentleman, right?
Yes.
Okay. Using his fabrics, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that project. So, yeah, I'm going to put that together. I think Kathy asked in the comments last night how I plan to back bind and quilt that and I'm thinking about just using like a plain black for the back, just because the background, was good. But solid black is half the price of his fabric, so I'm just going to be, and it's for my wife, and she's quite happy with solid black as a background, so I'm going to do that. And then the binding comes with the kit, and I think it's the black fabric for the binding, if I remember correctly. And then for the quilting, I think I'm just going to do like a crosshatch, because or follow the stars as they go on diagonal. I think that might.
Yeah.
I haven't done that for a while, and I think that'd be a fun way to do that. So I've got to go get the backing fabric first, because I didn't buy it from Cotton Cuts. I probably should have. It would have been a lot easier, but a bit too late now.
Yeah,
but that's kind of what's going on.
I love finding serendipitous backings that tie into the story of the quilt top. And so I was thrilled when I did Wild West and found some Route 66 fabric at my local shop.
Nice.
So that was fun, because like you, I never remember to order my backing from Cotton Cuts. So I just, and I've got a huge stash that I can put something together. So for Flyway, I pieced backing, and I didn't get to show it on the live. So I will definitely put that in my recap video. I don't know if I'll have that time to get that out this weekend, but definitely coming soon, because I did find a fabric that had little airplanes on it. So that was perfect for the backing. But my question for people when they ultimately see my backing is that I used a gray, like a definite blue gray shade on the back, where the front is more tan. And so I don't know if that's going to bother people that the backing doesn't match more closely. So it, you get a two-sided quilt. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, and I mean, I think with backing and that, I think at the end of the day, as long as you like it, and as long as you're happy with it, you can live with it. That's all that matters, because I don't always necessarily match the front of my quilt either now. And that's kind of one of the issues that I'm having with my first one, the So Sweet. That's still a quilt top, because I have not found a backing that I like yet. I keep trying to find a batik that's going to match the front, but now that you're saying this, and the thoughts come into my head, maybe I should just go out and get like white, because it's a white background. Maybe just put that on there and just call it done, because otherwise it might just sit there until the end of time and never get
sure.
So there you go. Layla's working on a panel quilt with beaded rows between the panels. That sounds fun. Good morning, Miss Andrea. She says, howdy, Sean and chat. I can't believe I just woke up, but I'm glad I got the time to say howdy. And she has a wonderful channel as well. I think it's under Andrea. We'll find out in a minute. Nanette, the farmer quilter, is here just in time for the end. And Susan says it doesn't bother her at all, Andy. So, yeah, I mean...
Oh, good.
Yeah, I don't think it matters. I mean... People look at the front of the quilt more than they would the back anyway, so I wouldn't get too excited over it.
Right. I always go by the saying, done is better than perfect. So
for sure.
There
you
go. And now that I'm looking at my temperature list and getting my row together, let me finish one seam and I'll have a grand reveal.
Excellent.
Is the first couple weeks of August, but I want to go back to the historical data website, because we had this one day where we had a odd low temperature overnight. So that's what that green spot was a very cool evening. And now it's making me double, question myself. I'm like, was that really the temperature that night? Because when you have all these warm, boom, and it usually, if temperatures drop like that, you have rain somewhere around, and it was like a week later before we got any rain. So like I said, it sticks out, and it makes me question my data. So we'll see. But
Yeah.
this is August temperatures in Phoenix, Arizona.
All right, so I hope I'm not butchering the name, and I apologize in advance if I do. Laura Lee has a wonderful question here that says, some say don't pick a backing until your quilt top is done. I'm going to highlight this on the screen. How many of you do that? And she says she does. Guilty as charged. I rarely buy backing when I buy the quilt top because A, I don't know that I want to put, and B, I'm spending enough money on the quilt top fabric without having the extra sting of doing the other one as well. So yeah, most of my projects, I don't go get the backing fabric until I'm ready to quilt it.
Yeah, and same for me. I tend to save borders and blocks, and I am a very scrappy quilter, so I shop my stash and put all sorts of random combinations together. I will piece my backings, you know, at least 50% of the time versus buying a one or, you know, the big yardage to make a backing. So yeah, I generally wait, although I do have a fabric sitting on the shelf for a project that has been an idea for at least 10, 12 years. So I'm kind of slow on the execution sometimes, but I do have, it's going to be a quilt that commemorates my time in the Air Force. So I found a wonderful print that has aircraft on it. So I'm definitely saving that for the backing.
Oh, very nice. And thank you for your service as well.
Oh, we're very welcome. It's a fun lifestyle for the most part.
Yeah, and I think part of it too is I like to be able to take the quilt top with me to the store and then like put it up against the fabrics that I'm potentially choosing for the background as well. So I think that's part of it. But yeah,
sure.
You also mentioned that you shop your stash, and I think that's me too. So maybe the ones that shop the stash are more likely to do it afterwards.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that say that they generally wait until the quilt top is done. Let's see, I noticed one comment. Jen says that she uses orphan blocks, and I do the same thing. I love to piece a back that has some interesting elements, and there are such a great variety of ways that you can use those orphan blocks and make a kind of a scrappy backing. So definitely using what you have is a fun and creative way to get things going. And someone had asked where I live, and so I put that in in the chat. I'm in Arizona.
So if ever want to go to spring training, I can come crash at your house.
Yeah, definitely. I was just saying that to my husband. We're getting all sorts of ads on, you know, Facebook and everything with the spring training schedules, because there are, let's see, I am just 2 miles away from one set of spring training fields. There's some like another 5 miles down the road in one direction. There's some within a few miles of my mom's house. So yeah, this is definitely the place to be in February and March. Although when my daughter was young, she was a figure skater, and the spring training ball field complex is right next door to the skating rink. And so that spring training traffic, we were like, oh my gosh.
Oh, I can just imagine. Yeah.
At those stoplights.
And isn't it when they had QuiltCon earlier this year too? Was right when spring training started, because I was always joking like, first of all, I couldn't afford the $700 airline ticket from here to there anyway, and then I was like, now my luck, I'd end up at the spring training games and never make the QuiltCon. Like, oh, where's Sean? Didn't you say he was coming?
Yeah, there's some overlap there, but spring training is a much longer event than QuiltCon, so you could probably extend.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll make it out there one day. You just never know. Who was it? Tracy was asking what I'm working on. I'm working on these blocks. I made this one was made like a year or two ago, and I've kind of neglected this project. So I've made we'll start on two more. This was a yellow fabric, and the pink one's not the pink one. What color is this? Green. You'd swear I was colorblind. I'm working on a green one as well. There's Green Excavators. I can't remember the company name. I think it's not. Is it Centerbergen? Yeah, I think it's Centerbergen. Has green machines. They do all sorts of. I know all sorts of random stuff.
Right. Well,
anyway,
there's supposed to be a amusement park. I've heard. I think it's in the UK that is all the big diggers and big trucks and stuff that kids can climb around on and work the gears, and just sounds like a fun place to take little ones or big kids that just want to try their hand at big machinery.
Although, isn't John Deere stuff all green too? Anyone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it can be Centerbergen, John Deere, whatever you want. And then, most of them are yellow, like Volvo and that. I'm not sure what Liebherr is. I forget what color they have their stuff. I think they're red. So there you go. All right.
Tracy, I think Sean shared the link. If you scroll
I just put it back in. Yeah, she was saying she should try that pattern. I just put the link in there. It's a lady from Germany, actually. She's on Etsy. She sells all different blocks. You can buy them as a package, or you can buy each pattern individually, and they're very reasonably priced. They're about $3.60 per pattern. And I love that you'll be able to buy, because a lot of times you see patterns where it's 5 or 6 different blocks and you only want 1 or 2 of them. And this way you can she set it up that you can piecemeal. If you just want a dump truck and an excavator, you can buy those 2 blocks only and go about your merry day, and you're out of there for $7, maybe $8 of tax. So that's one of the things I really love about her patterns is you only have to buy what you want to buy, which is not super common these days. Usually you got to buy the whole kit and caboodle with 10 or 11 different blocks, and you're only interested in 1 or 2.
Right.
So I'm very appreciative of her, and the patterns are very well written. I can't show you those, due to copyright reasons, but they are very easy to follow along with. So, and then they also come in 2 different. You can make 2 different block sizes. You can make a 9-inch block or an 18-inch block. I'm making the 18s because I figured if I'm making a quilt out of them, I don't want to make 4 times as many. Right. I love my nephew, but I want to get it done before he graduates high school. Right. So there you go. Anyway, it is after 9:30, so we should start saying goodbye to everybody because there are a lot of my friends who will be going live in a little bit. It looks like my friend Donnell should be live in about 20-some minutes. So you can go over and check her out. And then Russ, I believe, should be live at 11. I don't think he's got anything else going on unless the AC guy's got to get in the way. But he can just be a special guest, he or she. Right. Can be a special guest. Mum and Pop Quilt Shop are a wonderful couple that do lives. They usually go live about 1 p.m. And then Miss Katie goes live about 4 o'clock, and then her and I will be together tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock as well. So come check us out tomorrow morning at 8 over on her channel. We're going to be working on something. I don't know if we're working on.
Still doing the Star Climber, or did that finish?
No, we haven't finished that yet, but we're also working on the stitchets.
That's right.
Yeah, well, last month we did the stitchets. That was actually, it was like 2 weeks ago. So I don't know. I'll have to get with her today and find out if we are doing the stitchets or the other one. Hopefully we're doing the stitchets because those things are already cut out. The other ones I haven't done yet. So if I have my way, we'll probably end up doing the stitchets. So there you go.
I love the mix of blocks that Katie's been sharing. So definitely check out the Greenland Quilters. So it was so nice to be on your live stream, Sean. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, no problem. It was good that we could do this again because, now we're only 2 hours apart. It's a lot easier than 3. So thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. It was a pleasure having each and every one of you. I really do appreciate it. I say that a lot, but it's because I mean it. I really do. Come back and check out the podcast tomorrow morning. Come check out Katie and I over on her channel at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then go over and check out Andi's stuff as well, because she has a lot of fun stuff that you can go check out. And then also go look at all the other links that we've put in the chat today. If you're watching the replay, The chat will come up about 10:30 tonight. YouTube has to process everything, and then the live chat comes out. So there you go. Well, I think unless you have anything else to say before we run away? I don't want to cut you
No,
off.
I really appreciate the time to chat and to talk to everybody. You have such a great audience. It is always a special event when I can come and spend some time with you in real time. As you know, everybody chats offline as well, but this is a really wonderful time. I go live on Wednesday afternoon, so if that works for your sewing schedule, I'd love to see you over at True Blue Quilts as well. So have a great day, everybody.
All right, you'll have a good day, and we'll see you all next time. All right, bye, guys.